All right, you'll need to accept the recording. Welcome to your Professional Coach Academy continuing education. I have been working with Chat GPT and some other AI tools for a few months now, and am really, really gearing up for it. I went to a weekend, like Brains at the Ranch event, where like some programmers in that field were way over my head, but it was fascinating. I mean, I've really delved into it. And this is Robin Underwood. She is the co-trainer of the Professional Coach Academy's Executive Coach certification. And she also has been teaching courses, just like I am, like breakout sessions, etc., for how to use AI in our field. So given that there are tech people who programming is their job, and knowing how to use Chat GPT and the underlying language of language model that is, OpenAI, is a big part of their jobs. We don't have to be that. And this is a game changer. People are conspiracy theorizing about it. We don't need to do all that necessarily. And it is, I'm going to say, imperative that we all know about this and use it to some degree, or I think we can, within the next couple of years, really fall behind in our entire industry if we're not doing some things with this tool. So the first thing, and I did say this in the email when I sent it to you, is that I recommend that everyone, before you do anything else, if you want to really actively participate in this program, you can still enjoy the call and the replay without doing this, but I think you'll enjoy it eminently more if you go to chat.openai.com and actually sign up for an account, a free account with Chat GPT. And that way, when we show you the interface, you'll see that. I also want to encourage that on Google, there is a tool called Bard, B-A-R-D, like the word that they use to describe William Shakespeare. And that is bard.google.com. So if you're not wanting to sign up for a new thing in ChatGPT, which is owned by Microsoft, so if you're already a part of Microsoft, signing up for ChatGPT isn't getting your information to some new entity. They're owned by Microsoft. But Bard is owned by Google. So these are entities that we're familiar with, that we already have given our information to. I would recommend that you look at both of those, sign in, sign up. I signed in with both of them with the Google account, and that way that's kind of that account, and it's all where all my AI is, but you can do whatever you want. So with that, I'm excited to invite you to 2023 and the age of AI for coaches, speakers, trainers, authors, and other world changers. So I kind of did that opening. Robin, do you have anything else that you want to kind of say as an intro before we start playing with these AI tools?
No, I think just something that we have been using to get more clientele is using it for prospecting emails as well. So, branch out to be able to get the business a nice solid email that AI can put together, ChatGPT can put together is really amazing as well. So not just looking for how to do a training program or how to put together a speaking, engagement or conference or event or whatever, but kind of starting at the very, very beginning. How do I get the business to begin with, right?
Yeah. So as you think about AI, I want you to think about it completely differently than you think about Google. AI is not ChatGPT and Bard. They are not search engines. If you need to find out what articles are out there, what information is out there, that is not what AI is for. Continue to use your search engine, Google being whatever you're using. I want you to think of AI as like an intern, like literally someone that you've kind of hired who's brilliant, that literally has read everything written by the entirety of human civilization over the last, 500 years, like that kind an intern, but doesn't really have any idea what to do with that information until you give it some instruction as to what you want it to put together. And then also think about an intern. And most of the time, when you ask an intern to do something, their first attempt will not be exactly what you wanted. And just like an intern, be nice to it and say, great, thank you. And can you do this? And normally I find that when I work with Chat GPT, Bard, some of these tools, that probably about the fifth, like kind of narrowing down and kind of saying, can you rework this a little bit? Do I finally really get like the goods? But the whole time from the very beginning, you will be shocked and amazed and awed by AWE, awed by this tool. So without further ado, let me go ahead and go to Chat GPT, which when everybody talks about AI, which stands for artificial intelligence, the main one that people are using is this one right here, Chat GPT. Now, I have people ask me all the time, do you have the paid version of Chat GPT? And I will say, mostly I have not found that I need the paid version of Chat GPT. What the paid version is going to get you is if you're trying to use it during prime time when it's really busy and it says we're too busy to deal with you right now, then if you have the paid version, it won't do that to you. Secondly, if you have the paid version, it will have more up-to-date files. Can you look right here? It says ChatGPT has limited knowledge of the world and events after 2021. So imagine again that you have this intern that has read the entire knowledge of the world through 2021. So things that have happened in 2022 and 2023, it may not know about. Whereas if you do the paid version, which is like $20 a month, then it's more up to date than 2021. And version 4 is going to be able to, and this is actually where I'm about to pay for it, because I will do the paid version when ChatGPT allows me to put in a website and say, go to this website, and based on the information you're able to scrape from this website, I want you to write marketing piece or whatever. Now, when it's able to do that, right now it kind of is, because you can have it go somewhere and scrape data, and you can have it go in and rate things, but you have to do those all as separate prompts now. Whereas when it's able to do that, I will do the paid version. So right now, paid version is like $20 a month. So there are, I'm going to say hundreds of AI sites right now, and they all charge somewhere between $10 and $25 a month. So you can get really excited really quick and say, oh, I'll pay for this one and this one and this one. And the next thing you know, you're spending $150 a month because you've subscribed to 7 things. And I don't know that you need to subscribe to 7 things. I think you should play with all of these and kind of see what specifically you want, but definitely start with Chat GPT. So having said that, let me just go all the way back to when I first was playing with Chat GPT. At that time, let's see what I was doing. Oh, I said, hey, can you go ahead and create a press kit for speakers? And I don't know why it's not pulling that up. Doesn't it usually? There it is. And I basically said, I'm Sherry Prindle, corporate speaker. Create a press kit for me to submit to a potential client, get them to book me to speak. So it says, these are the items that should be in your press kit, right? And that's all. I was like, oh, that's already helpful. Like I remember in the Star Marketing Summit that we would give people a checklist like this, and it really we put a lot of effort into making a checklist like this, and ChatGPT did this in 5 seconds, right? Robin, what were you going to say?
Same thing. Yeah. Well, whole bio kit, right? We had everything.
Right. So I was like, okay, I'm cool. But that was the first thing I did with it, just to kind of see what was going on. And then it turned out that I was going to teach a class that was about meditation. It was the weird thing. Someone said, can you write a class called Improving Leadership Through Meditation? And I was like, I don't know. Let me see. So I
Yeah.
kind of just put in this simple question, right? And he gave me this outline, and I was like, okay, that kind of makes sense. Then I was like, okay, wait a minute. What are some training topics that are most popular in corporate training today? And it gave me some popular topics. And I was kind of like, okay, I teach most of these. A couple of them were kind of new, right? And then I said, what about in the space of DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion? And it gave me some topics there. Again, I'm not really using this stuff. I'm not using it to its full potential yet. So now I'm saying, okay, that one's not very good. So then I said, write me a speaker bio. I'm still, notice, Robin, for those of you who know it, I'm not really doing anything with it yet. I'm just kind of showing you this is what you'll start doing when you don't take a session like this. You'll play with it. I'm kind of using it much like Google. But then the day I said, write an executive coaching agreement between the executive coach and the company hiring the coach, then I was kind of liking it. I was like, okay, wait a minute, this is pretty good, because all I have to do is update just a couple of the key things. And I literally sent this to the client. And I was like, man, that saved me a lot of time and a lot of headache. Then I said, okay, I need to do a class on business writing. So I had it write an outline, and then I basically asked some more questions. This is where you get good. So if I start a new chat, then ChatGPT won't remember what I said in the last chat, but within the same chat, and I can come revisit it later, then I can ask questions and it will drill down. So it wrote an advanced business writing course outline for me. Then I said, what are the most common business writing mistakes and pitfalls? Now I can go back and say, and by the way, you're supposed to be polite to it. You're supposed to say, good
Please
afternoon.
and thank you.
Can you please flesh out the advanced business writing course outline for me with specific teaching points and how to's. Now, the reason we speak nicely to it is the idea is that when you speak nicely to it, it will speak nicely back. And it's always nice that your AI speaks nicely to you, right? Now, I'm looking at this and I don't think it actually correlates with the outline that they gave me before, does it? You gave me an advanced business writing outline at the beginning of this thread. Can you flesh out that outline with specific teaching points? Pints.
Some of your favorite things.
So now it started kind of from scratch. It almost treated this thread as if it were a new thread. So I reminded it to look up at earlier in the thread and flesh out the original outline it had given
Yeah,
me.
there
Look
it
at how
goes.
much more detailed that is.
It's so amazing, really, if you think about it too, that I put together a how do I teach um, LinkedIn to our sales reps on how to create algorithms and get better at prospecting and getting clients and booking meetings and things. And basically using ChatGPT, it put an entire hour program for me together, like within seconds. It was so easy. And I think what people are a little bit afraid of it, or it's a little controversial too, right? Because imagine when if you're a teacher and you see reports being written and you know that ChatGPT did it, you know. The only thing that we've actually kind of worked with as well is saying, yes, it's giving you kind of a skeleton or a foundation of it, but you have to put your own human skill to it as well, making it come to life.
And I'm even going to say, if I would never take the first outline I get from ChatGPT and turn it in anywhere, because anyone who has experience with it will be able to tell it was written by
Type,
AI.
yeah,
It's very
yeah,
well written, but it's just after you've played with it for a while, you start getting a feel for, oh yeah, my eyes glaze over. I'm like, oh, there's ChatGPT doing that thing it does, right?
yeah,
Because
yeah,
they all end
yeah.
up kind of sounding the same. But then when you start to drill down, so let me go to this one. I went to, and I'll come back to a couple of these if you're interested, but I had to do a class on Microsoft Word. And I'm like, this is perfect for Chat GPT because frankly, the instructions for how to do everything in Microsoft Word are out there in public domain. Like they're completely, if you go to Microsoft.com, it's all out there, right? So I said, okay, I'm going to do a class on Microsoft Word, and I want Chat GPT to pretty much write the whole workbook for me. I'm over it, you know? So look at this long thread I put together, and I told it to create a course outline, right? And this is that standard thing that the first time you've used Chat GPT, by the way, this outline is going to impress you, as well it should, because it's beautiful. But after you've used it several times, you start seeing, oh, yeah, that's that thing it does. It does a quick paragraph description. It does a set of objectives. It does a course outline, which, by the way, think how long it would have taken you to create something like that on your own, right? I'm already
Mhm.
unimpressed with this. That's like 6 hours of my life just fixed, like in that much time, right? But then I say, please flesh out each of the bullets in the outline with actual instructions on how to do each item. So it goes in and starts to do that. Then I say flesh out the original outline because I noticed it was doing a different outline, kind of like I saw a minute ago. Flesh out the original outline into a course with step-by-step instructions. And that's when I start getting what I want, like step 1, click here, step 2, click here. It breaks for whatever reason out of nowhere, it'll just stop working. And when it does that, when it's busy and overloaded, I just say continue. And then I say from where it left off. And then it knows, okay, sure. And it'll keep going. So if it stops on
And there's
you,
a reason for that.
yeah. Oh, there's a number of, what are they called?
You only get 25 a
Tokens.
day of tokens, and they shorten it so that they're not going to keep just giving it to you for free, right? So once you've used 25 of those, and it's really very rare that you're going to use 25, but if you do, you'll get those tokens. And just earlier you mentioned paying for the $20 a month. My company pays for it for me. And I got to be honest, right now, there's not really a significant difference of using it, having it, and not having it. And to be honest, I don't know if I would pay for it myself because I didn't see a difference. You know what I mean? Like, I think more and more as people start using it, they'll get that benefit of it, but I haven't seen any difference yet. But yes, so
Good.
to
So,
answer that, of why
yeah,
you go down to that outline is because you'll get 25 tokens, and they try to chop it up so that you're not just using them all day long.
perfect. So a token, just so everyone knows, a token is approximately, it's like a width. You know, everything's got to be measured for how to pay for it. And a token is kind of like a character width. So it's about 4 characters. Um, so you get a certain number of tokens, and then you have to pay for tokens. So I actually did, I have a different AI because I went to a big symposium on AI, and I did a different AI, and it was God mode. It's so this God mode thing was everything that's out there that's not Chat GPT is still based on this open AI, but they programmers build like frame around OpenAI that gets it to do things that it would take forever for us to go and type in the prompts to get what we want. So there are people that have created these frames where you can type in what you want, and it boom, 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 boom gets it to get what you want more quickly. So I did a paid version on this. I put a credit card on it, and I used it like crazy. And I laughed because I got my bill, Robin. I don't know if you know what your bill is for your organization, but like I used it like crazy. And I was like, okay, they told me it wasn't going to cost much. I'm curious, right? So I look, and it was like I spent $1.35 in May on my AI. Like it's not expensive right now,
Oh my gosh, how will you ever pay that off?
right?
You
So
probably paid
it's
more in your interest with your credit card than you did for the actual.
right. Mhm.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, if the paid version isn't a big deal,
Yeah.
but this was the first time I really did. So there's a thing with AI right now that it's really about, but actually a new job title that's called prompt engineer that says, okay, this AI has all this capability, but it's only capable of doing the things that you ask it to do, right? So you've got to get really good at asking it to do things. And so you have these people now that are called prompt engineers that become experts at how to write the right prompts. And when I went to this weekend thing, it was so weird because there was this one guy that we called in as like a guest speaker. And he's like, okay, so here's what I'll do. Check this out for marketing. So let me go back to marketing, something with marketing yourself. How much, okay, here we go. So how can I make money as a motivational speaker? Boom, boom, boom. How do I encourage authors to attend the marketing summit? Like I had some things like that. So let's say that I wanted to market myself, then I would have to tell the AI, this is my target audience. Do you have that somewhere? Do you have like a customer avatar or a description of your ideal customer? Feed that into the AI and say, this is my ideal customer. Then go over here and say, this is what I sell. This is my products or services list. You've probably got that somewhere as well. So then you paste that in. You say, this is my target market. This is my product or service. And then this is me. And you paste in like your bio and some stuff about you, right? And then you say, here's what I want to do. I'm going to create a marketing piece that I post on social media that gets people to do this, this, and this. And you tell it to generate it. And with all those inputs that you've given it, now it takes all that and puts it all together. So I had a prompt engineer that came to this event that I went to that said, my target market is this. Let's call this X. And he would say, my product or service is this. Let's call this Y. And then he would say, I am this. Let's call that Z. And then he was able to say, you know, targeting you, me as X or me as Z, targeting, you know, X to buy Y. Like, so just saying that that kind of becomes, if you find, because remember, every time you go in, if you just do OpenAI, then you have to tell it every time you open a new chat, you have to kind of start over again on, you know, telling it everything. It doesn't start from zero. But if you have those things like handy. So I now have a folder that I'm like, it's my AI prompts folder. And I'm like, okay, so this is the stuff that they need to know about me. Let me paste, put all that in there, tell it those things. The reason they were naming it X and Y and Z is that they were doing the paid version. And now they didn't have to use up all those tokens, pasting that stuff in, right? So there was all that. So that's just me. I know I've been talking a lot, but I mostly just kind of wanted you to see that it's really easy to start by number one, easily, if you're having to do a training or a course or a speech or something, you know, saying what it is. This one's called, I just said, as a corporate trainer, write an outline for a leadership training course called Onboarding Dynamics. And it wrote me an outline. And then I said, outline specific legal and ethical issues associated with onboarding, especially EEO. And it did that for me. And then I said, flesh out each of the above bullets into relevant content. So notice that that's where, I mean, that to me is a super easy thing. And then like Robin said, you can have it write your marketing pieces. You can have it write your social media posts. You can have it write your blog posts. You can have it write your contracts, as you saw. So that's excellent. If we were programmers, we could tell it to write code for us. It can do all of that for us. You can also kind of ask it, like, you know how you just want to understand something, like, have you ever thought, I'd like to take a course on this because I'd like to understand it better? Well, now I'll actually go in and say, you know, a lot of people I work with have been talking about articulate storyline. I'm not sure what that is and whether I would need to use that. I am a corporate trainer. I do this, 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 and this. How could I use articulate storyline to help me? And it would say articulate storyline is an authoring tool that allows you to create branching scenarios and da 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 da. For what you do, you might be able to use articulate storyline for this, 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 and this. Then I might ask, is articulate storyline affordable for me? Or, you know, blah, blah, blah. Like it's like having this chat with a subject matter expert. So definitely do things like that. And all the simple things like a contract or a, you know, some, like, I literally, for when I'm teaching training seminars, like I taught in a business writing class and we had like a poorly written letter. And I used to have them rewrite the letter. And now I just paste it in Chat GPT and have Chat GPT write the better letter. And it is better. Boom. So definitely that kind of thing. Content, definitely marketing. And I'll get into some other tools as well. But now I just want to be quiet for a minute and let those of you who are attending, Loretta, Atala, What are some of your thoughts or questions?
Okay, I have a question. It's Loretta.
Mhm.
All of on your screen on the left side, you keep going to files. Are those files created for you through Chat GPT, or are those files you create? And how do you maintain the thread? You mentioned before about threads. How do you go back to a thread that had been previously started?
Great question. So when I click new chat, whatever the question is that I ask, that starts a new thread. And Chat GPT keeps track of those for me over here on the left side.
Okay, so GPT has sort of an account for you. So
a
anytime you
history.
log into Chat GPT, everything's there.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
almost when you search like websites and how your Google will keep your bookmarks or your history. It's the same kind of concept that you have your history next to it.
Now,
Can
I've
I
got
ask?
to be honest because I haven't paid what I tend to do when I find really golden stuff. Then there's not
Copy and
really
paste.
it says to like there seems to be a way to export it, but people don't have good luck with it. So I tend to go ahead and when I get a really good one, I just, select the whole thing and copy it and paste it into Word. So I've got to be honest, like these threads, the ones that are really valuable to me, I've copied and pasted them into Word because I don't know what's going to happen with the free accounts in the future.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point.
Can I ask another question? I don't want to.
Please.
I don't. Okay. So I I don't like Microsoft. Everything I use is Apple based, right? So what I'm wondering is how well they play with each other. I keep hearing reference to Google. I only use it when I have to. Do you know anything
So
about that?
when you say Google, like chat.openai.com is owned by Microsoft. You can join
Great.
it on a Safari browser or a Mozilla browser or whatever browser you want.
Mhm.
Now, when we start looking at Bard, now Bard is a Google tool. So if you decide, and we haven't shown Bard yet, but Bard is a Google tool. So if you wanted to use Bard, then you have to go to Google to do it. But the other tools, I've not heard any issues. Again, the main thing I would say is I like to select, just select it and copy it, Control C, and open up like a document and paste it and save them because I don't know in the future what's going to happen with these. If you do that, of course, you won't have any issues. Robin, anything from you on the Apple
Yeah, no,
connection?
same thing. I just kind of go with what I'm given and what I've been using and what's familiar. I'm sure that they're both very, very similar because they're kind of working out the kinks right now, so to speak. But I definitely do a lot of copy and paste and put it in a document just to keep it for future reference. But I also am doing a lot of if I have a dormant client that maybe I did a training or a speaking gig with them years ago, I have like a dormant client email that I actually go to and I'll copy and paste that and that way I can actually put their name when I do put it into my email, right? I can kind of personalize it, so to speak. But another thing too, Sherry, I was going to mention earlier, like sometimes it can be really, really wordy. And I know a lot of the programs and the training stuff is good because then you can kind of read through it and sift out what you want because you're not going to be saying word for word what they've given you, but because it's giving you somewhat of a foundation or a template to use. But with emails, I've found that if I say, so if you type in send a client that I haven't talked to in 2 years that I am now with this company, Pareto. I'm a senior training consultant. Please give me an email to say hello that I'm introducing a new like emerging leaders training. I'm just kind of off the cuff right now. Emerging leaders program under 200 words, right? Or under 100 words or under 50 words. Whatever you give it, it will give you that limitation. And then you can kind of use it. So I feel like it's wordy. So Loretta, I don't know to answer, go back to the original, is I don't know if Bard is less wordy than Chat GPT or if it's more helpful. I don't have anything to compare it to. I have not used Bard in a while.
Thank you. I was more concerned with the interface. because I don't use Word. I use Pages. I
Yeah.
exclusively
Okay.
use Mac program or Apple programs.
So just to give you an
Okay.
example, Robin, and you can do this all at one time, but what Robin was just talking about, like I wrote this prompt that said to write, I'm a corporate training specialist reaching out to former clients I haven't worked with in a while. Please write a LinkedIn message letting them know I'd like to work with them. So you can do it all at once. Or for me, I like to kind of see what it comes up with and say, please make it shorter, more succinct. And I didn't do it right. CCINCT and less formal. So then it'll take the same thing that it wrote, and notice it's so much lighter. Like, I hope all is well with you, right? Shorten it. Great. Again, I like to be nice to it. Great. Can you please shorten it to have a number of words? Boom, right? Interested, right?
It's so lovely. Yeah.
So that's super fun. Like I did a
Yeah.
trade show at ATD. I went to the Association of Talent Development big conference, 10,000 people in San Diego in May. And I was working at a booth with this guy, and he was like, I'm going to write a follow-up email to all the people that stopped with us in the booth that says something like this. So one of the guys, so all of us went to that weekend workshop on AI, but one of the guys really embraced it. So he recorded what the leader guy had said, and then he actually recorded it. So then he took that text and put it into Chat GPT, and he said, can you please write this up as a follow-up email? Then he said, can you make it more succinct? Can you make it less formal? Like he kept like doing things to it until finally it was about 4 prompts in, and then it was like the perfect message. It was like the most perfect email that you could possibly send in a situation like that. And if you had sent the original one, it would have had a feel that it was written by AI. But by the time you drilled it down 4 different times, right, then it's really something viable. And then
And I
you
still
can
think it's
even give it a
faster.
piece of your writing
Right?
style and say, in
Yeah.
my writing, this is an example of my writing style. Can you use my writing style? Go ahead,
Yeah.
Robin. Sorry.
Yeah. And don't you think it's still even faster? Because you're
Oh, yeah.
thinking, gosh, you know, you gotta kind of drill it down 4 times. But I feel like for me, it would take me longer just to think of what am I going to say? How am I going to say it? How long is it going to take? And, you know, I just copy and paste.
Absolutely. Now, one of the things that I want to let people know is Chat GPT is the main one people are using. There are literally hundreds of AI. I've just kind of started gathering them in kind of a spreadsheet, and I'm just kind of scrolling down to kind of show you. There's like, these are some that I have found out about just kind of put in a spreadsheet. I mean, it's kind of bizarre. Um, and I played with some of them, and I found that some of them were viable and things that you could really use, and some not as much. So like, yeah, and this is, I mean, I've just been keeping track of them and seeing them. And so as far as all of these things that are out there, if you want something very specific, then someone has taken the basis, which is called OpenAI. This is the basis for pretty much all the AI things that are happening. So just as an FYI, I've said it a couple of times, but AI is what's called a natural language model. If you ask AI, what are you, right? If you were to say, what are you? Then it would tell you I'm a natural language model. And the OpenAI is this basis for all these things that you can do, but there are people who have used it to like scrape the web. So what I mean by that is I need to find companies in Nashville that are that have more than 2,000 employees who have an annual conference. Like, you can tell it to go and it'll scrape the web and bring like very rough lists of organizations for you to play with. So that's one of the things that people do with it, as opposed to writing things like outlines like we've told it to do, or writing emails or marketing messages. So in that realm, I know a couple of things that I've kind of played with is there are several that will make slides for you. So for example, since we're kind of in that speaking and training industry, oops, beautiful.ai. And they have a free trial, like 14-day free trial. I canceled it already, but I'm still within my free trial to show you. But you can go in and say, you know, I want to create, okay, I want to create a new presentation. And you can pick what type of presentation you want, and you can give it animation, and you can give it graphs, and you can give it content, and boom, 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 it spits out like a beautiful quick presentation for you. You can import a current PowerPoint that you have. You can import a theme you already have. So like that's kind of an example of where you can apply what you're doing to something more specific. The thing that I told you I paid for was something called God Mode. And it's a thing where you can go ahead and take, like I said, this is my LinkedIn profile. And I told it what I wanted it to do. And it started doing all these tasks. It would say, well, if I could go to your website and glean this, and it started kind of prompting different things. And at every point, it was the goal originally was to create a compelling one-sheet marketing piece highlighting the vast experience of delivering over 4,000 training seminars in over 200 topics. So at each, it would go in and say, these are my, these are my things that I can do. And okay, one sheet marketing piece. So after all of that, it created this email. Right. But it like looked on the web at what I had out there and wrote this. And it also wrote several other things. This is a one sheet that, you know, so this is AI did this. And it this time I didn't have to put in because this is God mode. This is somebody who took something on top of AI, of chat, open AI, and made it so that you can feed in some email. So I fed in some web addresses, and I fed in my email account, and look at it asked me, can I search for Sherry Prindle on Google? Can I go to sherryprindle.com and glean this? Like it's asking me permission to do these actions that will allow it to better, and look at all the actions it did to kind of create some of these. So these are other programs that are out there that you can use within the AI space. So let's say you don't find a lot of value with ChatGPT. There was just a big announcement with Bard that said that Bard now will do graphics. So my understanding, and I've not tried it yet. Have you tried it with graphics yet? Have you tried Bard at all? I don't know how to use the graphic thing. It says the graphic shows a group of trainers. Yeah, that's exactly it, but I don't see the graphic. But I don't see the graphic. Did you see the description of the graphic? Looks really good. So I guess Bard still confuses me because I feel like it promises a lot, and then when I actually run it, I don't get a lot of good, like, and it actually has a Google it option at the end. I did use, if you look at my Bard activity, one of the things I did was I said, I am a facilitator of training. I just delivered a seminar for leaders about emotional intelligence that requires that I recommend some resources for them to read, watch, or watch for supplemental learning. What can you recommend to them? So it gave me this nice list of, it gave me a nice list. But then when I asked it, can you supply the URLs for those videos? it said no, we cannot supply the URLs. So I'm a little bit baffled by Bard. It's a little more accessible, a little more user-friendly than ChatGPT, but in the end, the results, they baffle me a little bit. So there's that. But that's just another AI, just like ChatGPT. Robin, what else did you share with your group when you were giving them some ideas?
So one of the good things, I just got distracted. I was playing. That's
Happens
what
every
we
time I
do.
try to teach this.
I know, me too. I was like trying to do my bio and I was like, oh, this is good. I ended up, what we're trying to do is get a bit more engagement on LinkedIn. And so I connected, let me back up and give you some history behind it. They're too busy, lots of cold calling, lots of things that are going on, lots of clients, good stuff happening. So they are not finding that they're having enough success on LinkedIn to spend time on it. Whereas right now there's like 757 million members on LinkedIn, and that's where people are. Like, go there to start to strum up business. So basically, not just having a profile on LinkedIn, getting engaged, putting things into your algorithm, improving your social selling index. So as I typed into ChatGPT, help me teach a course on improving your social selling index on LinkedIn. And basically the top 5 points are what I actually put together. It was like an hour session. It wasn't very long, but it was, how do they get in? How do they use it quickly? How do they get into their analytics and their data to see that they can create algorithm and all of these things on LinkedIn? And then because it was an internal training, we also connected everybody, everybody becomes connections. And then they started reposting and sharing. So it was all about the social selling index on LinkedIn. I had no idea. Like, I was still very, I don't want to say new to LinkedIn. I was just I would do that same thing. I would go in, I would scroll, I would read a little bit, and that was kind of basically it. And then when they came to me and they're like, hey, can you teach this? Oh, well, you know how we always say yes. I was like, yeah, let's see. And that's when I was like, yeah, let me go to ChatGPT. And sure enough, everything that it gave me, I was familiar with and I was able to teach. So it's just really more of a guidance for me. Even when I'm trying to put together a training program, it's guidance. It's, am I doing it right? Does it look solid? Is it a good program? And it's, and not and toot my horn, but it was, yeah, I just want to see if I'm aligned with it. Yeah, I'm doing okay. Like, you know what I mean? It's just sort of gives you that confirmation of, yeah, this is probably what people are looking for.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Does
So
that make sense?
yeah. So I don't know how much else, any of you who are here, it was just a quick idea that I had because I know I'd been teaching programs on it and felt like people needed it. And the replay is going to be very valuable to people for this. And I'd love to see people play with it. And we do another one where we're all kind of playing and saying, look at what I found. And maybe even doing it as a post on LinkedIn. Because LinkedIn, like Facebook wants you to like and share, LinkedIn wants you to comment. LinkedIn is looking for you to write posts that are more than 250 words long, and they want people to comment on them. Liking and sharing doesn't really mean a lot on LinkedIn. So maybe we create a thread on LinkedIn where we discuss. So, thank you for the small group that showed up. Thank you, Robin, because you and I have been kind of developing our own expertise in this area. Thank you for your questions, Loretta. If there's anything else that you'd like to talk about, we certainly can. I thought I'd be on for an hour and a half, 2 hours, but with a kind of a small group, then this might be what people need at this point. So anybody, any thoughts before we decide to get on with our Sunday?
Hey, I'm back again. Not AI related, but video related. Tell me how you achieve what what I see on the screen of you. Not just that you have the light in front of you, but that you have the background darkened and blurred.
Oh, that's just a Zoom, because I think I'm the only one that's blurred right now.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just a filter on Zoom? Yeah, because I know
Yeah.
there are some. I just
Yeah, so
don't
just
use
hit
them.
the little arrow next to your camera and choose blur my background.
Okay, thank
There
you.
you go.
Because
Super
you look
easy.
And then
very
it's
nice.
because I've got
Not
the
that
good
you-
front lighting that I can have a not so great background look like a halfway decent background when I blur it. Yeah.
And PS, you look great. Now that's going to be on the recording and
Thank
everybody's
you. I
gonna
just
hear
got
it.
off of a bike ride, so
Yeah, and you can actually give yourself eyebrows too. Earlier we were playing, we had lipstick, we had eyebrows, we had all kinds of stuff. So I don't know if you necessarily want that, but if
choose
you just,
video filter. So click the camera, click choose video filter, and you can choose when you scroll down. They're the goofy ones, but where's the eyebrows and lipstick? It's somewhere else,
see,
isn't it?
go to Studio Effects and you can
Oh,
give yourself like, I
studio
just
effects.
look at my
Yeah.
eyebrows. Like, can you see, are they on? It's always so funny. Yeah, there you go.
Grab eyebrows,
Yeah, yeah.
and I'll do some lipstick. Oh, look, red
There you
lipstick. This
go.
is good.
Yep.
Brown. I like the brown. Ugh.
It's always just fun to play and see what you can use. But yeah.
Thank you
And
for that.
that's also where you can choose a better background if you don't like, your background, you can choose. We have a professional background for our company. And so if I'm training, I will do the logo kind of thing. Let me get rid of these eyebrows. I can't even take myself seriously.
I like
Gone.
my orange lips. I think
So,
they're kind of good.
sorry. But yeah, so you can do if you have a picture that you like, or if you have your logo, you can put it behind you. I think it's really nice with branding. Obviously, you found how to blur, so it's super easy. In that same area, you can see it will say add, and then you can put that there. And it's just nice to be able to, if you have a background that maybe you have a like, if you're in a different setting. I know sometimes I'm in an airport and you're trying to hide that you've been traveling, or you're not hide, but you're just trying to, your client has no idea that you're like all over the world. So you can just put your brand, which is good. And sometimes with contractors, if you're an independent contractor, a company that you will work with will ask you to put theirs and use theirs. I think it's always easy. But yeah, we didn't think to ask if people are not familiar with that too. I think that would be good with Zoom. And have you had to do much training, Loretta, on Zoom and do breakout rooms and
Oh,
engagements
yeah,
and stuff
I
like that?
love
Oh,
breakout rooms. That's
okay.
one of the best aspects of it.
It's
People just love it.
yeah, it's good. Look at her throwing her logos. Are you black and white or no? Are you still in color? Because it almost looked black and white there for a second.
I'm just using all, like you said, I'm a contract trainer. I have like the backgrounds that people want me
Uh,
to use.
yeah.
I think the lipstick kind of works this time. I don't know. I didn't like it when we were doing it before, but I kind of like it this time.
Yeah.
Like a Marilyn Monroe.
It is
Yeah.
a bit of a Maryland look, I was gonna say, especially with the kind of the dark and the black and the white. That's why I asked at first if it was black. So this is helpful though. I'm appreciative of this, Sherry. I know at one point I was taking a nap and I thought, let me jump on here because I could learn something too. And I think anytime that you hear about this stuff, you have to at least be a little bit informed, because we are going to be the front runners of this. They're going to look to us as trainers and speakers to be able to use these tools, and you can't shy away from it because it's coming. But I also feel that there's a lot of companies that are still wanting that human element. They don't want everything to be AI. So it's being comfortable, and how easy it is to use, I think is really what people are shying. Oh, I don't know how to use Chat GPT. Told my husband, put it on your phone and play around with it. He puts it in an app and he types it out and he's like, oh gosh, this is great. So it's kind of just that not knowing and afraid of it movement right now of, I don't really know what this is, but when they start to see it, they're like, oh yeah, this is easy. It's just like Google, right?
Well,
So I'm
I'm
gonna hop
looking
off.
forward to making
All
an
right.
imaginary friend.
There.
Yeah.
Oh, because you have the avatar that you can make too on Zoom. Have you done that?
Yeah, no, but
Do you guys know? Do you know where
Where's
that is?
that?
Background and
Where you can
effects.
make yourself as a,
You've got to find it. I know you're getting ready to leave, but now you have to make an avatar. Where's my avatar? I made one during Star Marketing Summit last year because John Chen was all choose video filter.
where do you go?
I know, right? Where is it? I have an avatar somewhere. Where is she? And they do this thing where they blink and stuff, and it's creepy.
Well, we have that on our phones if you have an iPhone. That you can
There's
always make an avatar with her too, but I don't know where to find it.
yeah. Oh, I wish I could
d-
find it real quick because I wanted to show you guys because we made avatars last year and our avatars were all sitting there.
well,
And it was cool because when you needed to run to the restroom or something, you could just put your avatar in there.
a piece of pizza. I thought it said party hat, but it looks like a piece of pizza. I don't know.
I'm sorry, I can't see it super quickly. Where is it?
Um,
Sorry. I thought it would be easy.
got to be in filter somewhere, right?
I think.
you
But
got
it's
me
so
playing.
cool because you make her and then you can just go and she sits there and she nods and she blinks and all those things.
No, that's crazy. It's getting people the idea to they don't have to pay attention.
Yeah. It was if you go to the marketing summit and we're on like line for whatever 48 hours solid, then it's nice to be able to put your avatar on
Yeah,
there.
yeah. I just looked at your letters. So you've got the marketing summit going on, and then you've got a couple of other things happening, right?
So coach certification, and I've scheduled some executive certifications and not spoken to you about the dates yet because we schedule but you teach those. And then we've got the people have been asking for the professional coach certification to be on the evenings. So I've started some evening ones.
Oh, good.
So yeah. Check that out. Professionalcoachacademy.com, starmarketingsummit.com. Thank you everyone for joining us.
Sherry, thank you for the invitation. It was great to see you again, and I appreciate all the learning.
Same here. Have a great evening, everyone.
Thank you so much. I will send you my I'm referring actually my sister to you, so she will be contact you this week. I'm sure that she's gonna be she's gonna be just change her life. I can tell you that. I've been talking a lot about. It was amazing because I was talking a lot about you with a couple of friends, and then I talked to my sister. Said, you should really contact her because I think sometimes you just need a little bit of push, a little bit of consciousness, and she's going to be the one who's going to be help you to embrace yourself in all areas in different levels.
Sounds good, Atala. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you for this
And
information.
yay, thank you. Until next time, I'll see you all later. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.